Hi, my name is David Riddle, and welcome to our YouTube channel, How to Home Life. And also I want to thank all of the comments and information and subscribers that we've achieved in a very short period of time. Thank you so much. What we're going to do today in this particular video is to repair an old wobbly wooden chair. Now this particular chair doesn't look like it should be repaired, but it just is the loosest chair that I have in my house, and I'm going to be making this as rigid as possible. If you look, all the joints in this chair have long ago lost the original glue from the factory, and so what I'm going to do is replace all of that glue with cyanoacrylate, or CA, and cure it with an accelerator. If this is the first video you've watched from us, I would suggest you go to our beginner's video, which details all of my techniques utilizing CA or cyanoacrylate glue, how to prep the bottles, how to use the accelerator. All of those things are all explained in that first video, and I definitely want you to watch it. So what we're going to do today is repair this chair using cyanoacrylate, like I already said, and we're going to show the unique processes that I do to solve all of the problems that this chair possesses. The issue is that I'm outside, and the reason I'm outside is that if the CA spills on the ground, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It'll eventually wash away with rain. But first thing we're going to do is lay the chair on its back and tie together the legs using this bungee cord. And the reason we do this is to tension the stringers as tightly as possible. And then I'm going to pull them up the legs to get as much tension as I can through cantilever options. And then I'm going to place this on the ground, put a piece of cloth underneath to catch any excess CA, put on my glasses, and I'm going to flood this joint with CA. And you'll see it will soak in. I spread it around. It'll soak in and be absorbed deep into that joint. I just wait for a little bit so it soaks in and provides and capillaries in. We just wait for it to soak in, just like that. In addition, I can also start working on this mortise and tenon with CA and let it soak in. And you can see it sucks it up because the capillary action of this glue provides a really capable means of, and you can see it just continues to flow in there. Now what I'm going to do, after this is soaked in, I'm going to accelerate this. I'm going to wait for a little bit. I'm going to accelerate this. And it only takes a matter of seconds for the accelerator to fully function. Now I'm going to turn this chair around and do the same joints again, starting at the top, allowing gravity to, you can see it comes up, and then you'll see it soak in. It's a mortise and tenon on both of these, yes. Now I'm going to also do this joint.
Will it soak into the joint, the mortise?
It will soak all the way to the bottom of that mortise and the tenon. It will all soak in.
How?
This is capillary action. The CA has absolutely no surface tension like water does, and so it flows totally without hesitation. A little bit more in this one, because it has already sucked it all up, and a little bit more in this one. It just keeps soaking it up. Now, I'm going to accelerate both of these. You can see it start to smoke already. Okay. Now, we're going to turn this chair over and do the same for these. I have a liberal amount of glue I'm using.
Now, why you're only doing it on two sides?
Because it's actually flowing all the way around. I mean, I can go on the inside like this,
But you don't need to.
but I generally don't need to. Because it literally flows both with gravity and with capillary action.
And the accelerator will flow in there too.
Yes. So I just wait, wipe off any excess, and just let it sit. Now I'll accelerate it. Wipe off the excess of the accelerator. Okay, and now we're going to turn the chair on this side for this joint right here.
Turn it so I can see it. Will it distort the finish or the lacquer on the outside of the chair?
Possibly, yes. So you should be cautionary about the amount you use, meaning that you don't want it to dribble all over the chair. You can wipe it off, and generally it won't affect the finish. But this particular process...
Will the accelerator affect the finish?
No, the accelerator does not affect the finish.
What about when the accelerator meets the glue? Does that burn it or do anything to it?
No, sometimes it'll turn the glue white. Sometimes the CA or cyanoacrylate will turn white after you spray on the accelerator. That's why I let it soak into the joint so that it doesn't do that. And this joint is pretty much filled with CA. I'll let it go a little bit longer and let it soak in. Then I'm going to turn the chair over and get this other joint right here.
Is it unsafe to breathe, the reaction of the accelerant?
No, I'm not doing, it's not vaporizing hardly at all at this juncture. Wipe off the excess.
Have you ever experienced any discomfort with the reaction going into your lungs?
Well, yes, I've certainly had a tremendous amount of exothermic outgassing from the curing of the CA, but it was a temporary thing, and I just basically moved completely out of the area if it was overwhelming. So let's do this.
Now, what about the joints at the top of the chair? Does that matter?
Well, those joints I've checked, and they didn't seem to be that loose. But these joints are a critical component in the chair's rigidity.
How long do you wait before you accelerate?
I watch the amount of glue as it soaks in, monitoring exactly how much it's soaking in. When it stops soaking in, that's when I apply the accelerator. Now, if I've added excess glue, again, like I said in the earlier videos, if you squeeze the bottle, you can always suck it up. Squeeze the bottle vertically and then just suck it up. Now, accelerator. Now, what we're going to do now is test the chair and see exactly how much more rigid it is. Before, this chair would rock back and forth. Doesn't rock. I mean, it was very rocky and twisty and wobbly. It's now extraordinarily rigid that quickly, without any complex clamping or disassembly or stripping off the old glue and taking the entire chair apart. All of that is a lot of time, whereas this is very rapid repair of mortise and tenon joints on chairs, especially chairs. For any of you who doubt the efficacy of this technique and process that I just used to repair this chair, just understand, find the loosest wooden chair that's wobbly in your house and use the techniques I've just shown you, and I guarantee that it will work perfectly.
By the way, last question, Dave. I saw large gaps between each of the parts of the chairs which you glued, and so can you talk about, like, there was a large gap there, but yet it must have soaked into the actual tenon joint. Can you explain that again?
Well, that's because of the fact that it's going to flow all around the tenon and the mortise, and after it is accelerated, it will absolutely lock all of it in place, irrespective of the gaps, because you can't close all of the gaps necessarily. Even from the factory, they came that way with certain gaps. But neither here nor there. All I can say is that this particular technique has been utilized by me for many, many years, and it's very, very efficacious. By the way, the questions were asked by John Schneider, who is the producer and editor of these videos, and we both work together to write the videos and to generate and produce these videos. And if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you in the comments section of this or any of our other how-to home life videos.
And please don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, and please don't forget to subscribe.
And thank you for all the subscriptions.